there other things that you'd like to point out when considering building a failure-free user flow?
Yeah, I think one of the important things is that, and this is going to be a blatant plug for MIRACL in some ways, that things like these user flows, particularly when looking at things like the login verification and other things like that, are extremely critical in terms of the security aspects. And that's all we do. We basically just do things like looking at enrollment and login and so on. And when we engage with our clients, it's not a question of just handing over our technologies, which they can deploy any way they want. And in fact, if we just did that, that would confuse a lot of people, because you can deploy it in an infinite number of ways. There is absolutely no limitation to that. So one of the things we like to do is, when we engage, is we actually get pretty much directly involved with their teams, if not even putting people on their teams if required. And that's really important, because what we want to do is see any integration work to the best of its ability, and obviously get the best results for that operator as well.
And biometrics is on the rise. Neither of these did show an enrollment through biometrics, but we'd like to reiterate that you could.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no problem with biometrics at all. In fact, in the phone, we even have a native app here which can use the biometrics. So this is our Club Casino, but this is the native app. We can use the regular PIN to authenticate the user, or if I log out again, what I can do is I can opt for the bio. Unfortunately, my operating system then blanks my screen, but you can see in front of my face, it's just asking me for my fingerprint, and we can also do that as well. So the nice part about this as well is that means, so one of the big problems that, let's say as an example, large operators in the States have, is there is a different regulatory body for each state. They all have different requirements, and some states, such as New Jersey, and it looks to be Massachusetts coming up, and also Pennsylvania, require multi-factor on all authentications. Now, the problem with that is that at least New Jersey doesn't actually think a local bio would qualify as multi-factor, and it shouldn't, for that matter. So what we can offer are the technologies for those operators to deploy a single solution, which allows the users to use a very low friction multi-factor when they want, or a biometric when they want, or when required or disallowed by the regulator. In other words, you don't have to worry about lots of different solutions. A single solution can cover you for all 25 odd states that have some sort of policies in place.
So you've been able to streamline, you've been able to meet regulation, and you've been able to, if required in particular states, also give an option to the 19 to 20% of your users who refuse to use biometrics and may prefer a PIN over the biometric solution, on where you'd like to push that. So this has been wonderful and very helpful to see the different flows, talk through the different options, just as I said, as a starting point. But, obviously we can integrate this as is, but as I said, kind of start to think how this could apply in your environment, and see how this feels familiar to your environment. Michael, do you have any other closing thoughts before we say ta-ta?
Not particularly. I suppose the one important thing in all of this is that we've shown you two very distinctive sort of setups, and don't think that you're going to be restricted by that. Really, whatever you guys want to do out there, we can pretty much integrate our technology into that flow. So just really come to us, tell us what you want, and I'm sure we can achieve it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Michael, and thank you all for joining us today. MIRACL is truly the login you love, and the login that we believe makes you money. If you get more people through the front door, there's more opportunity for them to take part in your great games and environment that you're building out there. These are simple and straightforward, but hopefully, if our audience is feeling a bit inspired themselves, please feel free to reach out to Michael or myself via LinkedIn, or email info@miracl.com for more information. You can visit us at miracl.com, and you can book a demo, discuss how MIRACL can integrate into your unique customer journey. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
All right. Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.